I'm back. Huh? Am I on?
You are.
Well, hi. This is the Creativity Show. I'm Claire Cooley. Bodie Werner, my son, Bodie the movie maker, is kind enough to help me with all the technical part of these live streams that are all about creativity, which is how I have found an increased keep finding peace in creative expression, healing, and in times like these, boy, do we all need it. So spiritual synchronicity, coincidence, just luck, who knows? The piece I'm working on is called Peace Path. Pebble and Pedal Peace Path from when I was 7. And I chose to go into the peace of nature instead of to go to school where the teacher had been tried to publicly humiliate me, break my spirit, I believe, control me, which is what fear tries to do, what bullies try to do. Let us not let bullies control us by dividing us. We're all in this together. So be kind, find peace and spread that, and stand up for what's right. So here's the Peace Path, and it's a guest suggested in my series of paintings, visual metaphors for my life story, that I got a grant, I'm so grateful to do. And so it's so good for me and everyone, I believe. Oops.
A little bit of technology happening.
Technology drop. It's like a mic drop.
Yeah.
So the guest suggested, why not black and white for that one? And I'm like, oh, great idea. And so I'm doing it. And if we listen to others, we learn more. No mind, no matter how great it is, can think of everything. So be open, listen, be respectful, especially listen to yourself. What gives you joy? What gives you peace? Do more of that and share that. That's what art is for me, my lifelong pursuit. As Bodhi's getting that dialed, I'm going to get my pigments dialed. I'm doing Blades of Grass today. It seems kind of perfect. Blades of Grass. I like to find the connections, make connections between things. That is what creativity is in one way, playing with connections. So Blades of Grass, grassroots. What didn't happen during Nazism's rise was there wasn't organized resistance in Germany. There was resistance, but in other countries it was better organized, and they so that's why it didn't prevail in Germany. Is so be organized, be clear, be kind, and don't let bullies control with their fear. So here we are, Blades of Grass in Peace Path. I'm going to put my Save the Lotion from going on to the painting gloves, my little fingerless gloves, so I have dexterity. And it's really interesting that my very first visual art, I'm going to take off those shoes, does it matter for the camera?
No.
Good. And I'm going to start on this side so I can work this way without smudging, hopefully. So
Let's make sure to record before you start working on the art.
Oops, I forget the technology regularly, and I'm only somewhat mildly better than I was when I knew nothing, but I am learning new stuff. And so first I put the water, and then it's pretty close to invisible, so it's kind of the magic part, one of the magic parts of painting.
I have the time lapse when you're ready also.
Right. Thank you for reminding me. I kind of got right into this, so
Go for it.
I'm going to do one more. And now, even though it's a blade of grass, oops, that one got some curves that I'm going to gently mellow out. Yes. And now Bodhi's going to show you a time lapse of getting Peace Path to this point. I do like alliteration. I like noticing it and using it. So you want to show the time lapse of getting it to here, and then we'll come back to, or you can split the screen.
Yeah, I'm showing it, and you are also on the screen, so they can see the time lapse happening and the art happening in real time.
Beautiful. You're amazing. Thank you. My very first visual art study was Sumi brushstroke. I heard one person talk about it while my mother was going to college after the kids were grown. She went back, and then I got a book, and I looked at it, but I didn't really read it like usual. And then I did the 5 blades of grass Sumi brushstroke study, and didn't save any of it. It was all like meditations, exercises. I didn't think of it as art. And what children have that we should all try to keep hold of is this sense of play. It's not burdened with preciousness. It's free. It gets to just be pure expression. And I was graced with a mother who said, you don't have to follow the rules. If you learned the rules that most people are taught to do art, you just have to forget them because you have your own way. How many people had such a supportive and wise parent? I'm so grateful for that. But if we don't have it as a parent, maybe a coach or a friend, someone who's our champion, that's who we should listen to, take in the deepest, listen to the most carefully. I want this blade of grass to cross over that one, so we're gonna give it some real zinger. Black can be very dramatic. All right.
So, Ken, you got a question about color. You've chosen to do lots of color, but this one's black and white. What's the thought behind that? That question is from Pete.
Pete, thanks for asking. I started with black and white, Sumi brush stroke, 50 years ago or so, as a study, as a meditation, not even thinking I was that kind of an artist. I didn't really think about it. I just loved doing the black and white Sumi. And then the birds left when I was asked to stay and teach in Duluth, and I'd never experienced that before, and I missed them so terribly. I had to draw them in pen and ink, black and white. And then this guest recently suggested black and white, and my son said it reminded him of a piece I did years ago that was black and white, pen and ink. And when she said it, and I recalled that Bodhi also said it reminded him of that piece, it felt right, felt natural, so I went with it. And I love every color, but I also like this minimalism, the elegance that can be in simplicity, the clarity, even the expression black and white is used to say it was clear, what was right, what was wrong, black and white, good or bad. And it seems like the peace path, which I named before the tragic events that have happened, continue to happen and have gotten more in our view with the terrible things that happened. Tragedy in Minneapolis very recently, the unnecessary, brutal tragic murders, I believe. They were murders from, we're in this generation where everybody's carrying a camera in their phone and so many different ways to see and so many witnesses. One who's looking at it couldn't conclude anything else. So that's very tragic. And here I am working on a black and white piece, good or bad, wrong or right, black and white, called Peace Path. When I chose as a little girl, 7-year-old, to get away from a cruel teacher, bully. And I went out and found peace in nature, and I was free to create as I made this little path out of dandelions and pebbles and this little cute little silly little bridge out of sticks and a little spiral of stones, and then mobiles in the trees with string and branches and dried vegetation, and I was content and my world was beautiful. And if I would have stayed being the target of that teacher's aggression, I would have been miserable. So we should not put up with cruel people. But we shouldn't hate, because then they've won. They're like that because they hate and they're afraid. Underneath the hate is fear. We have to face our fear and stay loving even when we don't tolerate that. Yes.
Question from BB7 on YouTube. Your love seems to be so much, excuse me, I read it backwards. Your art seems to be so much love. Do you ever express your anger or fear through your art?
Fabulous question and observation, and the answer is yes. And interesting, my next piece is called Middle Member Mobile. I hear a computer somewhere in the house talking to us. Can anybody else hear that? It's over now. Anyway, so do I ever express the painful feelings, the difficult feelings in my art? I believe all the time, even though mostly intentionally and instinctively, naturally, the most common response I get to my art over the years has been peaceful. Well, that's what I want to share with the world. It's what I want to feel. It's the best I feel like I have to give, is that we can find the beauty and peace anywhere within us, in nature, our connection to everything. And that's where I like to be. But sometimes, like every human, every being, I am in fear or pain or doubt or just anger, rage, righteous indignation, all of it, just like every person. And I have a policy of going expeditiously through the painful stuff and luxuriating in the lovely feelings. And that's what doing art for me is. But my next piece and the one after, trigger alert, may be in some ways the hardest things I've ever gone through, which, why don't you say what Serena said? Do you
Sure,
have that?
Do I have it?
Access to it?
You keep talking while I try to pull that up.
Okay. Well, people suggested very lots of suggestions, including Bodhi, that I write my life stories, and the judge said her stories like the women on death row, how'd she turn out so nice? So I've been through some really difficult stuff, and so I'm gonna paint that. 2 paintings from now is that.
Yeah, I can share the video.
Okay. That.
Yeah, I can share the video.
Okay.
Alrighty, I'm gonna press play on a
That,
video here in a sec. And here we go. Okay, I'm gonna press play on a video here in a
The book is called Incandescence, Rising Above Darkness, which I think is a very fitting title. You are describing some of the most difficult situations I've ever heard for a little girl to go through, but it's done in such a positive, lyrical, spiritual way that it really does rise above what was actually happening to you. And I think in that way, it can be very inspirational to people who are having a hard time, no matter what the hard time is. And I'm really highly recommending it. The book is called Incandescence, Rising Above Darkness, which I think is a very fitting title. You're describing some of the most...
So basically, Serena was saying you're describing some of the most difficult things for a person to go through, and but describing it in such a lyrical and positive way that it really does rise above darkness. In the memoir, Incandescence, Rising Above Darkness, which I'll put a QR code on the screen for you guys if you guys want to check it out. It's her memoir, and it's full of her art. It's really an amazing book. You can get it on ebook, or you can get a paperback copy. And if you have any questions about that or how to get it, reach out in message, and we'll connect with you. It's in between each chapter is a piece of her art. You want to talk about why you included your art in your memoir and how you're...
Sure. I had many years ago, the literary agent take my stories and my art, when I'd written a few of them, to New York to the big publishers, and they said the stories stand on their own and the art should be a coffee table book, and they were interested in it. But I said, for me, they have to go together, because as the title, Incandescence, Rising Above Darkness, art, creative reverie, finding beauty, no matter how small compared to the chaos, conflict in the world, is how I got through, how I rose and still do. This really painting these pebbles at this time with these recent tragic deaths and the fear and anger and all of that, this divisiveness that people are getting confused into, instead of we're all in this together and let us hear each other and treat each other with respect and not tolerate disrespect toward anyone at any time. It's that simple. While I'm painting Peace Path. So painting this part of my life story at this time, which I did not orchestrate, foresee coming, try to schedule, it happened. outside of my organizing it. But it's a demonstration of just why I had to have my stories and the art go together. Some of the stories are really difficult stuff, and the art between is the beauty and serenity I find in nature, in the cosmos, where there is no malice. And even if death, tragic things happen, even violent volcanoes, earthquakes, there's no cruelty. And that's a safe place. So it's a demonstration. The painting and doing it is a demonstration of why I have to have my stories and my art together. Give myself and people a break in between the drama of life, in a place to let it all go, refresh ourselves, be renewed, not lose our childlike wonder. So here's my 7-year-old self story of what I did, and it came from somebody asking, well, if you stopped going to school, what'd you do? Well, this isn't a amalgam of different things, but it's telling the story. I found a peaceful place in nature, and then I arranged natural things in ways that gave me pleasure and delight, and rested there. So there you go.
Fantastic. If this piece of art, one second.
If this piece of art was a type of music or a song, you know, what would it be? What would the lyrics be? What would it sound like? Don't feel put on the spot to make music for us, but you know, take us on the intellectual journey.
Well, as you have said to me, I don't really make music. I make beautiful sounds with my flute, the instrument that I try to play a little bit every day, and I never know what's going to come out. And I just stop when it feels like that little ditty is done. And I'm as surprised with my art as with the audio art, as with the writing. I just let come out what's in there. And because I carry no malice in my heart, I get to. Because I am not going to hurt anybody. I get angry, but I clear it before I act. So if this were a piece of music, it would be sampling wind, trickling water, blades of grass brushing against each other, and a little girl giggles, very soft giggles. And they would all be sampled and made into a jazzy rendition, and she'd be humming, and that would be, there wouldn't be any words. Oh, now maybe we're gonna have to do that.
You're standing a little bit out of the frame.
Okay, what's the time? I'm feeling like I need to stop here even though I want to finish the grass.
12:30.
And I think we're going to wrap it up, except for that I'd really appreciate you sharing something you're doing that we've done together, like Girl Scout and Tomboy, or where you're at, whatever you're comfortable, one of the recent videos, to share a completely different form of creativity. He helps me with my completely different than his. I help him with his completely different than mine. And that makes us both better I mean, I know it makes me better. I hope he thinks it makes him better, and that's why he does it.
Yep.
Huh?
Yep. When you're ready, I'll start talking. Yeah, so we're posting the next casting call for the next episode in the Northport episodic series. And that will be coming out the last day of the month. And you can learn more about the Northport episodic series at this QR code here. This will take you to the giveminnesota.org webpage. The Northport episodic series is a sponsored initiative of the Zeitgeist Center for Arts and Community, an amazing local nonprofit. What we're doing different than most productions is we are prioritizing mentorship on set and in pre-production and post-production. For those of you who don't know, pre-production is what we call the planning and development phase, where we prep for getting on set and shooting. And then post-production is what we call the editing phase, and where things like sound design and musical score and VFX, CGI, computer generated graphics happen. And we're teaching people by doing. That's how I learned. That's how we like to learn, and that's how we like to teach. And so that is why we are fiscally sponsored by a nonprofit, is that we prioritize education and workforce development. We're trying to teach people by doing, and they develop the skills that allow them to have a sustainable career in the film industry here in Duluth, Minnesota, and the surrounding region. So if you're interested, please check out this link. Also, look at my social media. Go to my website, bodiewerner.com, and there's a button you can sign up to be on our casting and crew call list. So all future opportunities to be involved, if you sign up there, you'll get notified of those opportunities. And the next one is the audition, which is going to come out in a few days, and it's an open casting call, no experience necessary, and it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, thanks for giving me an opportunity to talk about that.
Always, and it's very important for us to learn to work together. And Bodie and I, we've, we're so different that we've had to learn to disagree respectfully, hear each other, and ruminate on what fits, and accept that we're better with our good brains and hearts together. So let's keep doing that, everybody. That's what I want to say. Keep doing that, everybody. Working together, not allowing fear and divisiveness to cause conflict. Increase conflict, decrease it, increase peace. Thank you, Bodie. So next, this might be done. And did we see we did see the time lapse, right?
Yep.
They saw it, I was painting. I'll see it later, but I will finish it in front of the camera so you see the whole thing from start to finish in a couple minutes, which I find very gratifying. Thank you for being here.